Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to Gavin Reads It All. Today I'm going to go through a massive unhaul. Now I actually started this unhaul last December. In my second Embosso Toss episode, I ended up unhauling a lot of books. I think it was around about 140. And I did film me going through the shelves and unhauling things, but it just didn't fit with that episode of Embosso Toss, to be honest. It just felt like it was taking too long to get into the reading. So I ended up scrapping that footage, but I did keep all of the books I was unhauling so that I could save it for a rainy day. And yeah, it's a little rainy. It's also a little warm. Like, it's actually getting warm now. I have a t-shirt on and I do still have myself a hot drink just to make me sweat. But I do have all of the books that I was going to unhaul. You might have seen them in a little bit of B-roll footage in that episode. But I will say there are some additional books that I want to unhaul. And I do want to go through my shelves one more time to see if there's anything else I can unhaul. And unfortunately, I do feel like there will be more that I can get rid of. So I'm going to do that today. For all the middle grades that I will be unhauling, I am trying to donate to my local library. My last unhaul video was back in August and they did want to take the books, but they're currently undergoing renovations. And I'm currently filming my library challenge season 2 and the library's still getting renovated. There is scaffolding all around. And it's not the library's fault. It will be, the local council and getting funding for it. So it's not their fault at all. But I have way too many boxes now and I want to send them another email with all of the updated, books that I want to give them. Predominantly middle grade, but I do have, a lot of other just regular standard fiction novels that they might want to take too. So grab yourself a hot drink or a cold drink, any kind of drink, and get yourself all cozy. Let's do an unhaul, and please do like the video if you enjoy, subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, I'm going to go through those books that I mentioned. I probably won't speak too much about each one. I'll probably just give a brief reason why I'm unhauling it, no descriptions or anything. And I'll also keep a tally as well so I can say how much I'm unhauling. Oh, and before I get into the unhaul too, there was one book that lots of people were screaming at me to keep in that Embosso Toss episode. Lots of people screamed at me to keep Bone Smith by Nikki Pau Preto, and I will listen to you. If you do scream at me in the comments down below to keep a certain something and I feel a little bit on the fence about, then I may end up keeping it if enough people scream at me for it. So okay, I listened, I'm gonna keep it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 stacks at the minute. So I'm just gonna pick up a whole number of books and just go through that. The first 2 books that I'm unhauling, Eva Evergreen, Summer Magical Witch and The Cursed Witch. I've already read these 2. I will most likely never reread them. I thought they were a really good time. I loved reading them. This was about 4 years ago and I don't think I have any desire to reread. So these will be much better off in a library. I have The Adventurers Now by Jess Redman. I read Quintessence by Jess Redman and I really enjoyed it. But with me kind of slowly getting out of love with middle grade, if I'm not really that inclined to pick it up anytime soon, then I may not get inclined to pick it up anytime. So unfortunately this is going as well. Next I have the Cloud Horse Chronicles Guardians of Magic by Chris Riddell. It looks just a little bit too young for me now. I do feel like, even though I do still enjoy middle grade, and I don't think anyone can really grow out of middle grade, really. Like, I feel like anyone can read it, adults, grand adults, everyone alike and still read it, but I feel personally like I've grown out of reading younger middle grade. So this is like technically children's, and I just don't think I'm going to ever read it, so I'm sorry. Oh, Tinsel, the Girl Who Invented Christmas by Chabelle Pounder. I read this one years ago and I did really enjoy it. It was a good Christmassy time, but I'm never going to read it again. Oh, I also have my ARC copy of Amari and the Night Brothers by Baby Alston, and I don't really want to keep ARC copies, to be honest. They were something that I used to love getting, from publishers back in the day, and I would like gobble them up as soon as I could. But I have the final copy of this and it's personalized and signed to me. Actually, I still need to find it. I don't know where it is. If you watched my book collection video from earlier in this year, I accidentally took off the Amari and the Night Brothers book that was personalized and signed from the author, and I don't know where it is. It might be one of the boxes that I'm going to give to the library, so I need to double check the other boxes. But I am going to get rid of the ARC copy because I just don't need it. I don't know what I'm going to do with ARC copies. I'm not going to sell them. I don't think you should sell ARC copies. I've only picked up 6 books and I'm already sweating. It might also be because I'm drinking, a hot coffee. Next I have Once Upon an Eid by S.K. Alli and Aisha Saeed. This is a really great anthology book for people who are, celebrating Eid or want more information about what Eid is. So I think this would be perfect in a school library or just a library in general. A Wish in the Dark by Christina Soon-Tonvad. I read this one 5 years ago and I did really enjoy it. I love the cover so much. Never going to get reread, unfortunately. Next, I have Take Back the Block by Crystal Day Giles, a really great book for, young kids who want to see somebody who takes a stand and is such like an inspiration for that age range. This is a really good one, so will be, again, perfect in a school library or a library. And then I also have The Unadoptables and The Midnighters by Hannah Took. This is from the Unadoptables series. I read the first book back in 2020. I want to say I got the art copy of it and I liked it enough to get the sequel and a finished copy of the first book, but this was when I worked at Waterstone, so I got every single book half price. I went a little bit too crazy with that staff discount, I really did. But I've never felt compelled to pick up the sequel in the last 5 years, so I don't think it's ever going to happen, unfortunately. Actually, I think it only came out like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe. I still haven't wanted to pick it up. I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club. I've got quite a few Al Crate Jr. books here as well. The Girl and the Ghost by Hannah Alcaf came in Al Crate. Gosh, probably back in 2020. 2020 was my peak middle grade era, so I feel like a lot of books that I'm unhauling are probably from around that time. Cinders and Sparrows by Stefan Bachman. Al Crate Jr. Oh, The Line Tender by Kate Allen. I actually read this one and really enjoyed it, and it gave My Girl vibes. And it was good. No, it was good. It kind of toes the line between like older middle grade and young adult. So I feel like personally it could fit into either one. Good story, won't reread it. Aggie Morton, Mystery Queen, The Body Under the Piano by Marth Jocelyn. I did like this. It is a series and I don't feel compelled to pick up the rest of the books, which means I don't really feel compelled to reread this. This was one of my Patreon book club books about 2 or 3 years ago now, maybe just 2 years ago, and a lot of people enjoyed it and I did too. It was very, very good. The Ship We Built by Lexi Bean. This one has great LGBTQ plus representation for children to see themselves be represented. So I would totally 100% recommend this one and think it would definitely benefit in a library. I keep saying that and I need to stop. I think you get the gist at this point. You know, all of these would benefit a library because I am starting with all the middle grades. I might as well get that over and done with. Anya and the Dragon by Sophia Pasternak and Ember and the Ice Dragons by Heather Fawcett. These both feature dragons. I think everyone would really enjoy these. I read Ember and the Ice Dragons for Paulathon 4-5 years ago maybe, and it was very, very good. Haven't read the other one though. Okay, I have a World Book Day book here, Everdark by Abby Elphinston. I have the full edition that got released. This was just like the £1 book club book. I don't know if anyone will be able to take this, but I don't really want to keep it on my shelves when I've got like the full book, the full novel. I have the entire Stormkeeper's Island trilogy, which I read the first book, really enjoyed it, by Catherine Doyle, think it was really, really good, but I'm finding middle grade fantasy to be a little bit too samey, and so I'm not really finding myself fall in love with it anymore. I read the first book, I didn't read books 2 and 3. Someone will love this trilogy, I just know it. Kind of the same situation for the Place Called Perfect series by Helena Duggan. I read the first book 6 years ago now, I think it was, a long time ago, and I never continued with the series, and it's never going to happen now. I have been keeping it on my shelves just in case, but it's not going to happen. I would need to reread book 1 before I get to books 2 and 3, and I just don't want to do that. I have The Secret Sunshine Project by Benjamin Dean. I read this one, I love it, I think it's great. No desire to reread. I have the Orphans of the Tide series by Stuart Murray. This is going to hurt a little bit because I loved the first book so much, but then I never continued on with the series, and it's never going to happen. Now it's never gonna happen. If I never read a trilogy or a duology and finished the series years ago, it's not gonna happen now, unfortunately. I know my brain, I know like my taste now enough to know that I had the best intentions for the series and I did love that first book so much. I can't continue now. I just can't do it. I have The Last Firehawks by Leigh Newbury, a very, very good book. I did enjoy it. It is actually personally signed to me as well, which is like so lovely, but it's not going to do anything on my shelves now. I'm not going to reread it. Wish by Barbara O'Connor. I will be unhauling, as well as Beyond Platform 13 by Chabelle Pounder and Eva Ibbotson. I haven't read any of the other books by Eva Ibbotson. I believe there's quite a few, and this is a continuation written by another author, so I can't really be bothered to like go back and like read something else before reading this one, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. And I might not even have to do that, but my brain is just like, ugh, you would have to read everything, so let's just not read it at all. I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club. Adam 2 by Alistair Chisholm. I love Alistair Chisholm so much. This was my least favorite Alistair Chisholm book that I read though, and it was good, but never going to get reread. But His Academy by Ryan Hammond. This is another one that skews quite young, and I think a lot of kids will have so much fun with it, just not me. I have my Lindsay Curry arcs, and like it does mean quite a lot to me that Scritch Scratch was my very first American arc I ever got. But I have like some of the final copies and I don't need the art copies. And I also do have like The Peculiar Incident on Shady Street, which I'm just not going to read at this point, so I'm just going to get rid of it. But the other ones I have read and really enjoyed. Murder by Narwhal by Alex T. Smith. I was actually pressured into buying this. You know, when I went to see Wicked and I went into my old shop that I used to work in, and this was the Children's Book of the Month, and they have to hit those targets. They have to hit those Book of the Month targets, so they were like, Gavin, buy this. And I was like, okay. So I just bought it. Legend of Skeleton Man by Joseph Bruchac. I read this for Summerween last year, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very, very good. Never going to reread it, though. Never going to reread, never going to reread. Never going to reread, never going to reread. Oh, 1783 Freedom by Katherine Johnson. This is a dyslexia-friendly book, and I think, again, it will benefit being somewhere else. The Pocken and Stubbs trilogy by Sophie Green. Really enjoyed the first book, never continued with the series, and it's never going to happen now. So a little bit like the Stormkeeper's Island series, the Place Called Perfect series, this just ain't going to get read anymore. But the first book was good. I also have Darwin's Dragons and My Friend the Octopus by Lindsay Galvin. I read Darwin's Dragons back in 2020, really enjoyed. I thought it was very, very good. But time ticked on and I just don't feel compelled to read them anymore. I feel like I'm repeating myself now, so I'm just going to like blast through some titles, and then if I have something to say that's different to everything else, then I will say it. I only have 2 stacks of middle grade left to go through, so. The Backgrounds by David A. Robertson. Quintessence by Jess Redman. This was Alcrate Jr. and I did read this one. The Kerry-Marie Murder Club. This is an anthology of middle grade thriller kind of wintry mystery stories. Very good, but gonna unhaul. The Plentiful Darkness by Heather Kastner. Maya and the Rising Dog by Rena Barron. I really like this one, and you might know Rena Barron from other like young adult and adult books. She's a very good middle grade writer as well. My art copy of The Snow Girl by Sophie Anderson. I have the finished copy. I've read this. I love it. I think it's great. Don't need to keep the art copy though. The Chance to Fly by Ali Stroker and Stacey Davidowitz. And this is great if you are a Wicked fan. And I know you are. A Poker, The Tree of Ekroth by Kobe Bryant and Ivy Clare. I keep meaning to read this one for years and years and years. I love the look of it. I also love the fact that the pages are like rainbow. You know, like that is so cool. But again, I think just too much time has passed. Other Words for Home by Jasmine Walker. I love this book, by the way. This is a great book. I read this years ago, but I'll never reread it. It's very, very good. The In-Between by Rebecca K.S. Ansari. And I'm sorry for unhauling you. The Book of Stolen Dreams by David Farr. Just sounds like too much like other middle grade fantasies that I've read. The Nightmare Thief by Nicole Lesperance. And the entire Starfell series by Dominique Valente. I think I read the first 2 or 3. I did get quite a ways through this series. It also skews quite young on the younger side of middle grade. Never gonna reread it. Never gonna reread. The Ministry of Unladylike Activity by Robin Stevens. And also, you're all gonna kill me for this one, but the Nevermore series by Jessica Townsend. When the series finishes in like 2057, I might pick up the series then and just blast through them all. But I've been waiting way too long for book number 4. I don't have it in me to wait anymore. I've lost interest in the series over time now. Plus this is the Waterstones edition that got released and it had errors, like some pages missing. I could never reread that copy anyway if I wanted to. But yeah, I have no interest in reading book 4 anymore. But who knows, maybe when the series is over, because apparently it's going to be 9 books and it's taken, 8 years to release the first 3. I don't know about that. I do have a couple of 9/11 children's books. So I have Towers Falling by Jessica Parker Rhodes and 9/10 by Nora Really Baskin. I keep meaning to do a reading vlog for these and I just never did it, and it's not going to happen now, so they're going to get rid of. I also have Black Brother by Jewel Parker Rhodes and Betty Steady and the Queen's Orb by Nikki Smithdale. This just got sent to me from a publisher. I begged them to take me off the freaking list because they just kept sending me these middle grades that I would never read. All of these children's books that just do not appeal to me. So finally, I have been taken off the list. And then finally, for the middle grades that I pre-picked to unhaul in my Impossible Toss episode 2, I will unfortunately be unhauling the entire Murder Most Unladylike series by Robin Stevens. I love the way these look together. I love the kind of rainbow-esque format. There's 11 books and then 2 like World Book Day books, so like 2 tiny little short story novella things. I have read the first 5, but it's been that long. I just don't think I'll continue, to be honest. And they're just taking up so much space on the shelves. So hey, I'll be getting the entire Murder Most Unladylike series. Oh, that's going to make so many kids happy. I'm telling you. Okay, that was the middle grades. Let's go into the young adult and adult books. Beastly Beauty by Jennifer Donnelly. A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. I did not like this book. I really didn't like this book. And the same with the next one, Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mera. I read these 2 for the Goodreads Romantasy vlog. They were 2 of the worst ones. Stephen King's Misery. I have a new updated version of this story, so I do not need this older copy of it. I love Misery. It's a 5-star read for me. The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. I'm not going to read it. Felix Ever After by Kason Calendar. Amazing author, but I don't really feel the need to read this one anymore. Basilisk by Graham Masterton and The Dry by Jane Harper. Both these came in an abominable book box, and this is what made me cancel that box, because I took one look at these and then I read the backs and I was like, I'm unhauling these. I do not want to read. These do not sound like the kinds of books that I would enjoy. So I ended up cancelling the abominable book box after these 2 came. Cryonite by Tim Johnson. You Should See Me to Crown by Leah Johnson. I did read this one and I did really like it, but I won't reread it. Shogun by James Clavell. I was thinking, should I keep this one? Because I did give it a good go. I did try it. I can't remember how far I got into it, but it's massive. And I struggled. So I was like, okay, I'll keep it. and then I'll get back to it at some point. If I'm being honest with myself, I don't think that's actually going to happen. Cows by Matthew Stokoe. I do not need to explain myself for this one. This is one of the most fucked up books I've ever read in my life. Disgusting, vile. It's extreme horror, so that's why. Hated it. Absolutely hated it. But that was the point, so I don't hold it against the book too much. All the Fiends of Hell by Adam L.J. Neville. I wanted to like this one, but I was so disappointed. This is what happens if there's an alien apocalypse, and it was boring. All of My Friends Are Rich by Michael Sarias, and Close to Home by Michael McGee. The Virtue Season by L.M. Nathan. Orbital by Samantha Harvey. I did not like this one. I did not like it. Electric Idol and Neon Gods by Katie Robert. I've had these for way too long. They've been on my TBR for so long. Their time has come and gone. The Willows by Algernon Blackwood. I read this one, very, very short, a little effective kind of short story that came out in the 1900s. I liked it. Will not reread it. A Devil Comes to Town by Paolo Morensig. Read this one for my vlogs of Halloween in 2024. It was good, not great. Anger is a Gift by Mark Oshiro. The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher. I do have a different copy of it, that's why I'm getting rid of it. I've got two more Katie Robert books. Learn My Lesson and Desperate Measures. I read Learn My Lesson and I did like it, but I just have no interest in reading anything more by Katie Robert. Unless it's filthily gay. That's what I want. Haunted by Chuck Palahniuk. This was very, very weird. This is my Waterstones edition of A Study in Drowning by Ava Reid. I did unhaul a Illumicrate edition last year, but this was the Waterstones edition I kept because I preferred this copy. And then I read this and I really did not like it. The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Danielle Page. I just think the time has passed to read this one now as well. I don't think books have an expiry date, but my intrigue on this book has expired. It expired by about 2 years. How to Kill Your Family by Bella Mackie. I liked it, but I was rather underwhelmed by it. To Cage a God by Elizabeth May. I DNF'd this one. I really didn't like it. Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. My worst book of 2024. Of course, this is getting unhauled. I only kept it so that I could hold it up in that video. And I only bought a physical copy because I ended up doing a video with Gabby and Katie. So I had to make notes. I had to analyze the hell out of this. And yeah, I don't think anyone's going to want my like highlighted edition of it, but we're getting rid of it. Finally, it's leaving this house. Malice by Heather Walter. Oh, my two copies of An Academy for Liars. I feel like I have to defend myself a little bit. This was one of my worst books of the year last year, but I saw this in Australia and I didn't realize I was getting a copy of it from Evernight. So when I saw this in Australia, I was like, oh, I need to read that for the Literary Dead Book Club. So I picked it up there and then I got home and this was waiting for me. Yeah, I know, but they're both getting unhauled. But this is a beautiful copy, I will say. I was slightly tempted to keep it, but then I was like, no, that goes against, you know, having books on these shelves that I want to either reread or that I still am interested in reading or that I genuinely loved. Tangleweed and Brine by Deirdre Sullivan. Bloodskion by Deborah Fillet. Plaster of One by Jada Jones and Danny Bennett. I'm pretty sure I've unhauled this like 3 or 4 times at this point. This is one where if someone screams to me to keep, I'm just going to ignore you at this point because I feel like that has happened in the past. And that's why I still have it. And I just wasn't interested then. I'm not interested now. But I did try by keeping it. Zora by S.J. Jones. Fable by Adrienne Young. The Gaze Upon Wicked Gods by Molly X. Chang. The Darkening by Sonia Mara. Silver Night Ray by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. It kind of hurts me a little bit to get rid of this copy. I did read it while I was in a haunted castle. And I did kind of like it. But the more that time has gone on, the more I know I'm not going to reread. And I don't think I actually enjoyed it as much as I thought I did. I think it was just because I was in a haunted castle that gave me rose-tinted glasses. Or should I say silver-tinted glasses. Dogger by Four by June C.L. Tan. Son of Blood and Ruin by Mariley Les. I DNF this one. I didn't like it. I thought it was boring. The Curse of Saints by Kate Dramis. And Spice Road by Mia Ibram. This is the last of the pre-picked young adult and adult novels. I do still have a stack of graphic novels I'm going to quickly go through, and then we will finally like unhaul some like new books. I feel like this has been going on for far too long. I do apologize. Okay, so graphic novels, I have Phantom Hearts, The Girl from the Sea, Unordinary, El Defo, The Sad Ghost Club, Anti-Hero, Stargazing, When Stars Are Scattered, The OK Witch. I feel like if you watched my Emboss or Toss, was it 1 or 2? You know that I did not like the first volume of Lore Olympus, so I'm unhauling my first 3 volumes of Lore Olympus. So yeah, some of the books I mentioned are books that I've unhauled through Emboss or Toss already, just so I would mention them here as well. I have The Spooky Whippoorwill Lane by Carl James Murford and Oanus Rawborn. I do recommend giving this a read, but then I also have 3 of like the encyclopedia kind of things by Jean Menzies. We have Goddesses and Heroines, Greek myths, and Egyptian myths. And while these are fantastic, more people will benefit from these if I give them away. Okay, I actually do have some more Imposter Toss unhauls to quickly show you. So Hera, I didn't like when I read it recently. I DNF'd it, and I've decided not to even try Ariadne by Jennifer Saint, the same author. Just not for me. Genuinely not for me. The Dance Tree by Kirima Wood Hargrave and Floating Hotel by Grace Curtis. two books I read in Emboss or Toss, and they're both getting tossed. Just thought I would make it official. I do have the Fairy Loot copy of The Court of Bristol Keats by Mary A. Pearson. I do have the Waterstones edition of it, and I much prefer this copy of it, so that's why. The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. This was in my worst books of the year video, and I kept this so I could hold it up in that video. I've just decided to get rid of Myrtle. This is just like a general interactive game book. I actually got it for a live stream I did with Kayla from Books and Lala back in October 2023, and we did do a couple of games of Myrtle, but they were just the online versions. I had no reason for this one. Last Stop on the Murder Express by C.J. Farrington. I tried this one over Christmas and I just couldn't get into it, so I'm getting rid of it. Oh, Coupe de Grace by Sophia Adran. I read this one recently for my This Vlog Won't End Until I Find a 5-star, and I really didn't like this book all that much. I gave it around about 2 stars, so it's definitely going. And it looks like there's a delivery. Next I have Zora and Me by Victoria Bond and T.R. Simon. I read this one recently. I did like it. I gave it 4 stars. Will not reread it, unfortunately. Also, probably the only manga I've ever unhauled is Fruits Basket Volume 1. I really didn't like this. I'm so sorry. So sorry to all the Fruits Basket fans out there, but I just didn't like it, okay? Oh, I've stuck out my bookmark in it as well. I was wondering where this bookmark went. So yeah, I read the entire like first volume. There's like 2 volumes in this, and I just knew I wasn't going to continue. Okay, I have no idea how much that was, but now I'm going to just quickly go through the other books on these shelves. I'm just going to get rid of the ones I just know I'm not going to read. I may have to be brutal with this, but it's the only way. And hopefully this will be like the very last unhaul for the next like year or so. I do not want to do another one in 2025. Mark my words, this will be my one and only unhaul of 2025. Mark my words. Mark my words. Skellig, David Almond, never going to reread. The Halloween Tree, Ray Bradbury, never going to reread. Oh god, the Wizards of One series. I can't do it. I love the Wizards of One series. I'm keeping them. Which Way to Anywhere and Which Way Around the Galaxy by Cressida Cowell. Not my favourite Cressida Cowell series. Keeping all of those. Keeping. Oh, this does hurt a little bit. I'm going to get rid of 7 Sophie Anderson hardback books because I have them all in paperback. I do not need these. It's mainly because Sophie Anderson is my favourite middle grade author, or at least one of them. And I love the idea of having the American hardbacks. I do not need, it's taking up so much room on my shelf. As much as I love these covers, I'm going to have to get rid of them. I'm sorry, Sophie Anderson. Curse the Night Witch by Alexandra. Jack Jolloff Goes Forth by Henry Chancellor. The Miracle on Ebenezer Street by Catherine Doyle. This is a very good Christmas read, by the way. The Spectaculars by Jodie Garnish. Again, sounds like every other middle grade fantasy. The Vanderbiggers of 141st Street by Karina Jan Glaser. Did enjoy, but not going to reread. Seymour Winterhouse by Ben Goodison. I enjoyed, not going to reread. Just sorting out the shelves while I'm here. Might as well. As much as I love The Monsters of Rookhaven by Padre Kenny, it's going to get unhauled. Very Addams Family-esque if you enjoy that. And I never got a chance to read The Shadows of Rookhaven. It's not going to happen now. Hedge Witch by Skye McKenna. I enjoyed, but I never got a chance to read the sequel Wood Witch. So I think I'm just going to get rid of both of them. I don't think I'm ever going to get a chance to get to this series, unfortunately. It is The Extremely Inconvenient Adventures of Bronte Metalstone by Jacqueline Moriarty. It's the 3 of them, the 3 books. They are just too big, and I've lost interest. The Mystery of Black Hollow Lane and The Secret of Whitestone Gate by Julia Noble. Operation Nativity by Jenny Pearson. Again, another very good Christmas book, but I just don't have the need or desire to reread Christmas books, honestly. City Spies and the sequel by James Ponti. It's not going to happen. Again, good intentions. That was from Al Craig Jr. Puzzle Heart by Jen Reese. Great book that I read for my Patreon book club. Not going to reread. The Silver Arrow by Lev Grossman. Oh, freaking hell. Oh, shit. I now have a full empty shelf, and I haven't even gotten to the middle grade paperbacks yet. This is actually really difficult, but I actually think I'm going to unhaul all of the Polar Bear Explorers Club books by Alex Bell. I love the series, but I think when it comes to all 6 of these books, they're never, ever going to get reread. I don't really want them on my shelves anymore. Like, I did love them, but I don't want them on my shelves anymore. I want to be able to look at my shelves and be like, I want all of these on these shelves. Unfortunately, the same with the Crooked Sixpence series by Jennifer Bell. All 3 of the books. Really great series. The Uncommoner series, but I'm not going to reread. The Girl Who Goes in the Last Name by Reese Carter. The Consequence Girl by Alistair Chisholm. I guess the only Alistair Chisholm book I'm going to keep is Orion Lost, because I did freaking love that one. Honestly, if I can get 2 shelves emptied on this, it would be amazing. I want to keep Arusha, all of How to Train Your Dragon. My art copy of Me, My Dad and the End of the Rainbow. Great book. Search for Wandler, unfortunately. The Lost Girl King, Catherine Doyle. I might just get rid of all my Abby Elphinston books. Again, great series. There's 5 books here. I think I'm going to unhaul these 4 Vashti Hardy books. Bright Storm, Dark Whispers, Fire Song, and Crowfall. I'm going to keep Wild Spark though. I love that one. That one's my favourite Vashti Hardy. I could get rid of The Way Past Winter by Kerry-Marie Hargrave because I have a hard copy edition of it. Ola and the Wild Hunt by Anna Horton. The Whisperling by Haley Hoskins. Maybe The Shiver Shadows and Secret of the Stars. Read these two and I really did enjoy them. Jamie L.D. Lipinski. Stepfather Christmas L.D. Lipinski. Again, another great Christmas story. I'm going to have to get rid of my art copies of the Strange Worlds Travel Agency. I have them all final edition and that's all I need. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking. So these entire middle grade shelves, I do have like the young adult graphic novels here. And if I can get all of these shelves to be empty and kind of move all of the middle grade to be on this side of the bookshelf, well, apart from the hardbacks, which goes across the top 2, then I will be so happy with that. That would mean I would have to get rid of like at least 2 full rows of middle grade, which is a huge ask. So I'm going to have to really buckle down and get a bit ruthless now. So I'm just going to continue sorting these out. Elemental Detectives by Patrice Lawrence. My art copy of The Highland Falcon Thief. But I am going to keep all of my Adventures on Train series. I have a standard edition of Frost Heart that I could get rid of. I still have like a special edition there. So I'm just going to get rid of the normal copy, but this is dedicated to me. But my art copy of this is dedicated to me as well. So again, I don't need 3 copies of it on the shelf. Goodnight, Mr. Tom, I do like, but I'm never going to reread. I do have 3 copies of A Kind of Spark by Al McNichol. I'll get rid of my art copy and this copy because this one is personally signed and dedicated. So, you know, I'm definitely keeping this version. The Green Glass House series. I love the first one so much. It's been about 6 years. And I still haven't continued. The Chime Seekers, Christmas Dinner of Souls, and The Midnight Guardians by Ross Montgomery. I've read all of them, really enjoyed them, not going to keep them. Kansuki's Kingdom, Megal Morpurgo. Loved this one as a kid. Not going to reread it though. Oh, this one does hurt me as well. The Songs of Magic series by S.A. Patrick. Loved the first book when it came out. It took so long for the second and third books to come out that I lost interest, unfortunately. And I'm never going to get back to it. North Child Youth Patu. I did really enjoy this one when I read it. Not going to reread. The Peculiar Tale of the Tentacle Boy by Richard Pickard. I'm not going to reread. The Unexpected Tale of Bastion Bon Ivre and the sequel by Claire Povey. The Last of the Spirits by Chris Priestley. Really good story though. Very underrated. The Doll Maker of... You're going to absolutely take the mick out of me here. Krakow? Just going to put that one down. The Good Thieves, Catherine Rundle. Turnkey of Highgate Cemetery, Alison Rushby. Oh god, the City of Ghosts series by V.A. Schwab. I did really enjoy these when I read them. Hasn't stuck with me since though. Frankie Best Hates Quest by Chris Smith. Oh, The 101 Dalmatians. I did like this one. It is good, but the movie's better. Oh gosh, well, I'm definitely not getting rid of my Edge Chronicles series. Sisters of the Lost Marsh and The Ghost of Goswater by Lucy Strange. Fun fact, I'm in the acknowledgements of this one. Great story, not going to reread. This actually hurts as well because I've got all of the Christmassy stenciled edges of this, but it's The Christmas Carols by Mel Taylor Besant. I really enjoyed the first one. For Christmassy stories, I feel like I want to, in the future, just check them out in my library rather than buying Christmas stories because I just feel like they're a one-time read. Unless it's something like A Christmas Carol or something. So yeah, unfortunately they're going. I now have 4 shelves free. And so I can probably put my young adult paperbacks here. Or I could put maybe like Stephen King books here since they're taking over my other shelves. Or maybe I can do both. Maybe I could do both. Anyway, I now have 4 shelves free. How amazing is that? I already got so much that I'm getting rid of. But let's have a look at my young adult and adult shelves now. See if there's anything on here that I can possibly unhaul. There probably won't be too much, honestly, because I feel like this is more a reflection of my tastes now, so bear that in mind, but we might as well have a look still. Guys, I'm not saying anything I want to get rid of. That's good though. That is good. Actually, The Teller of Small Fortunes, I read recently and I gave it 3 stars or thereabouts. I'm not going to keep it. I'm not going to reread it. I didn't love it. Why is this on the shelf? I'm pretty sure this was in an emboss or toss, right? And I was going to toss. Why is that still on my shelves? Sorry, this is also getting unhauled. Oh, I have 2 copies of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and I never know which one to keep. So can you let me know down below which one you think I should keep? Should I keep the like gold and blue one? Gold and blue? Or like the black, silver kind of look here? Which one do you think I should keep? I'm definitely going to get rid of one of them. You let me know which one. So I'll count that still to the tally because one of these will go. Yeah, sorry, there's nothing else I want to get rid of. I feel like today was mainly a cleanse of middle grade. I'm so sorry if that was boring to you, but yeah, I guess that's the Unhaul, because I'm looking at my young adult and adult shelves and I don't want to get rid of like anything. And I'm not going to just force myself just to rack up the numbers. It feels like everything here is what I want to keep. At least this is like a reflection of what I am into right now. And I'm still very, very interested and invested in a lot of everything that's on here that I haven't read yet. So yeah, I think that's it. I think, oh my God, there's so many books. So many books. Oh my God. Now to store them until my library can take them or shop them around. Who knows? I will keep you updated in like the next Emboss or Toss or whatever reading vlog comes next. I will keep you updated. So please do subscribe to see more of like where these books end up. But yeah, whatever the final tally is, that's how many books I've unhauled today. At least like some of these were from last year. Like not everything from this unhaul video was from this year. But this is just to give you an update on my book collection at the minute. And hopefully this is the last unhaul I ever do of 2025, the first and last of 2025. So that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to leave this video a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave all your comments down below. Let me know what you thought of the video. Was there anything that I unhauled that you think I should keep? Was there anything you saw on my shelves or see on them right now that you think I should unhaul? Let me know down below. And be sure to tell me which version of The Invisible Life of Addy I should keep. I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons for supporting my channel. If you'd like to join my Patreon, then the link is in the description box. But yeah, I hope I will see you in the next video. Bye.